Hi everyone, welcome to the Cuff of the Sun Normal, also known as Alexander 6 or Midas 2 Normal. In this fight, you'll grab a group of friends to go murder a group of robot friends. Trust me, with names like Blaster, Brawler, and Swindler, they probably deserve it. My name is Mystek, and I'll be your raid guide. After going through some familiar trash and level design, you'll find 4 platforms with 4 mini-bosses each that comprise the entire encounter. Luckily, wiping to a boss does not reset your previous progression on normal, so once you down a mini-boss, you'll be able to get right to the next one without having to rekill anything. Each boss has a set of abilities which can be quite dangerous, but all are easy to handle. The first boss is Blaster. Throughout the fight, this little dude will plop down mines that should be avoided. Eventually, he will target 4 players with these purple markers. After a short time, phantom robots will fall on where these players are standing and face a random direction. They will then rush forward in a straight line, debuffing and damaging anyone in their path. To handle this, the marked player should spread, and once all phantoms are down, all players should move to avoid being in a direct line to any of them. Rinse and repeat until he's down. The second boss is Brawler. This guy has 3 types of attacks based on which of his hands are currently active. It's best to have the raid group up behind him, ready for each attack. You'll see him rise up and cast Spirit Fingers, at which point one or both of his hands will activate. If you see the left hand glow orange, this indicates he's about to slam one random person with high damage based on proximity. When you see this orange drill, it's best to run away as far as you can to avoid high damage. If you see the right hand cannon, this indicates he's about to do a massive tank buster. Cooldown and heal appropriately. If you see both hand cannons, he's about to do a massive blast that should be shared among the entire raid. As soon as you see both hands, the main tank should run behind and stack with the rest of the raid to share his damage. In between each attack, the boss will put up a stacking debuff on the main tank. I would recommend tank swapping at 3 to 4 stacks to minimize stress on the healers. Remember to keep an eye out on which hand is active and you'll have no trouble. Rinse and repeat until he's destroyed. Next up, we have Swindler. Once you pull, you'll notice the platform will divide itself into high and low sections. Throughout the fight, he will debuff all players with either a purple or a red debuff, which will make you susceptible to damage on either high or low ground respectively. If you have purple, you need to move to low ground. If you have red, stay on high ground. If you can't remember what is what, a quick peek at your debuff tooltip will tell you where to go. If you're standing on the wrong ground, you'll take damage and get debuffed. Bioarithmetics is an AoE blast that should be healed through. Healers keep a close eye on any debuff players. Lastly, he will mark a player with this circle. This can be a tricky mechanic to deal with properly, especially in Duty Finder with minimal communication ability. Basically, depending on how many orbs you see floating around the player, you'll need that many people to soak the attack and avoid any vulnerability stacks. These mechanics will repeat until the boss is down. Finally, we reach Vortexer. Again, this boss applies a stacking debuff on the primary tank, and I would recommend a tank swap at 2 or 3 stacks. Vortexer will drop AoE circles on 3 people that will leave behind fire puddles. Don't stand in these. One person will be marked by this blue marker and eventually spawn a water spout when their debuff expires. Throughout the encounter, Vortexer will cast Super Cyclone, knocking back all players. Position yourself in such a way so as to not be knocked into any AoE puddles. Lastly, 3 people will be targeted by these ice markers, and at least one of them needs to drop their ice on top of the water spout to freeze it into an ice block. When the boss casts Ultra Flash, all players must immediately run and line of sight behind the frozen ice block or they will die. At this point, all mechanics will repeat until he's down. And there you have it. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Up next, we'll get into Alexander 7. As always, thanks for watching. Till next time.